Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at each life path number to see how the upcoming full moon that's occurring on December 15th, 2024 could affect you. This, of course, is a general forecast. If you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. I would love to work with you. My information is in the description box below. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this full moon and what we've got going on. A life path 11-2. So you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 28-1. This is an interesting period. This can be a cycle that can come with some unusual or unexpected events. So I would say try not to overthink anything at this time. Don't try to create unnecessary stories in your head that don't need to be there. Come back to the reality of the situation and what's actually happening, no matter how absurd, it might be, and face it head on. So, if something happens that just doesn't make sense, seek out the other person, seek out, the people involved to have the conversation, to gain a better understanding of what's actually going on. Because there can be kind of a lot of sort of haziness or fuzziness around certain situations. And it's that fuzziness that we can take that and run with it and create some wild stories from it, right? So this is one of those times where it's like, dig a little bit deeper, take the time to get to the truth of the situation, whatever that might be. And I would say get to the truth of the situation before making some kind of rash decision based on assumptions. This is a cycle where, if we are too quick to make an assumption, if we're too quick to go by the story in our head as opposed to the reality of what's actually occurring, we could really create a mess of things that we don't need to make a mess of, right? It's like that. Creating additional work for ourselves that we just don't need to do. So definitely a period where I would say be really careful about making assumptions about things, right? Do your due diligence, make sure that you are asking the questions, having the conversations, and pushing a little bit if you need to kind of get to the truth of it so that you're not allowing your story to be the truth of that situation, because it might not be, right? The story that you created in your head basically about the situation, because that can be your biggest barrier sometimes. I say I'm saying like when we as a species do that, we can create the biggest barriers for ourselves. So yeah, I would say through the illusions, just make sure you're doing your due diligence and you're not just going by the story that you're creating in your head. This energy can bring in contradictions, and that's what kind of makes it sort of so weird, right? So unusual, is it can bring in those contradictions. And so again, things could feel a little foggy. So use your good judgment, use your intuition. If something feels off, it probably is. If something feels too good to be true, it probably is. It just needs that deeper conversation, And if you have that conversation and it still feels off, follow your gut, right? Trust that if it feels off, then it just means it's not right for you right now. And trust that. Could it be stemming from fear? Sure, right? But you know what? If you trust it and it turns out it was stemmed from fear, you can pivot later. So just I guess my point is I'm saying like take your time. Don't be too quick to make decisions about things without investigating them further. And if that investigation still leads you down a rabbit hole that doesn't give you answers, then come back to you, trust your instincts, and make a decision from there. If it was the quote unquote wrong decision, you can always backtrack and make different decisions moving forward. So it just is a tricky kind of time. I would say this might be a time where if you can avoid making really important decisions, like life-altering decisions, you might want to wait till this energy sort of subsides. And, this energy is going to be strongest around this illumination. So around the 15th, a couple days before, a couple days after. But I would say give it a week, mull it over for a while. Just don't be too rash to too quick on your assumptions. Judge situations fairly without letting your emotions or fears take over. And wonderful partnerships can be formed now, especially business partnerships, transactions, agreements. There is this competitive nature to this energy that can bring competition. So again, take your time, decide how you want to participate, and that's going to give you the best results. So interesting energy here, 11s. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now.